Hey gang, welcome to FoundFlix. Stranger Things is already a global phenomenon and hasn't even been out a month. It's insane and amazing how people are responding to this excellent show. So of course the question on everyone's mind, where is my season 2, damn it? So let's get right to the beef. New information regarding season 2. I scoured the internet to find every piece of info I could, and I'm here to round it all up for you. As of right now, there still is no official confirmation regarding season 2, but in a very recent interview, the president of Netflix said it would be dumb not to renew the show. So again, nothing official yet. Generally, a renewal is based on viewer ratings, and Netflix doesn't provide this information. One company supposedly figured out that Stranger Things had about 8 million views since going up, and is in third place after Orange is the New Black and Fuller House. But I feel it's basically a shoo-in if you look at how much the show has spread so quickly. And again, the president of Netflix knows it's a no-brainer, so that says a lot. I think it's just a matter of time. So worry not everyone, I'd say season 2 is basically a done deal. But right now they're trying to figure out the specifics and what incarnation season 2 of the show would be exactly. I do think this format could work as an anthology series with season 2 tackling an entirely new story. But of course with these characters we've grown to love, it would be tough to say goodbye. And luckily the Duffer Brothers feel the same way and have stated that season 2 would follow the same cast with some important new additions. According to Ross, the plan would be to treat it like a sequel, where maybe there's different tension of course, but at the same time staying with these characters for a little bit longer. So a sequel but not trying to be a redux of season 1. The main tension of season 1 is finding Will, and it makes sense that they need a whole new narrative driving force for the season. I'd say that's a really smart way to go forward with things, especially since they can't really go back to the naive feeling of the beginning of the show. Things are out of the bag now as far as other dimensions and kid with powers and stuff like that, so they have to find a way to develop that further without completely abandoning the fun 80s feeling of season 1. One example that might be cool is to go further into the Thing by having the slugs infesting people in town via the water system, but you can't tell who is infected or not. The darkness is kind of slowly assembling into our dimension. This could help give us a sense of normalcy to start the season with, everything seems okay, and then slowly unravels as it's revealed who is infected by the upside down slug. They are also essentially forced into doing a time jump with season 2 as the kids are growing up so quickly. Yeah, you have to do the Harry Potter thing, you have to jump a year. So they are going to have a lot of unexplained time in the show when we pick up in season 2. This is really going to shake up the dynamics of the show because there's no way to know where things are after a year. Regardless, they mention a few more things that will no doubt factor heavily into the next season. Will was living in the upside down other dimension for about a week. The repercussions of that can't be good, and the interdimensional rift, at least how he left it, is still very much open. So that also can't be good. So it's exploring that. I'm really curious to see what direction they choose to go with Will after his time in the upside down. I had a few theories in my previous video about this, but it's up to the Duffer Brothers where they take it. And they confirm the rift is still open. We saw that even over the course of the show, that the spread of the darkness from the rift was growing further into our world. How much will it have progressed after a year? They also say they don't intend to answer all of the questions in the show, and that as more is explained, it actually becomes less scary. The hope is that by the end, people will still have some questions, but that it will also feel satisfying as a whole. This is also smart. I can't help but remember Lost, where every time they would finally solve a big mystery, it would be like, well, that was stupid. The theory I read on the fuselage message board was 10 times better. Again, sometimes leaving the mystery is actually better. And speaking of Lost, that and Stranger Things are the only shows I can think of where someone is punched back to life. Live! So they do intend to give us more information in season 2 on some big mysteries, delving further into Hawkins' research and the upside down. They mentioned going back to the laboratory and pulling back the curtain a little bit. Maybe they brought someone new in. It's not as evil and mysterious as it was in season 1. We might start to get into what they're doing a little more. We know that things will be very different at Hawkins now since 11 took out a fair chunk of them. The whole structure of the Institute will certainly change as a result. There will be someone new in charge that will potentially seem more on the level, but of course are continuing the experiments behind the scenes. It can't be as mysterious as before, but they are figuring out a way to develop Hawkins further without spilling too much information and losing the mystery. One big mystery related to Hawkins: how does Hopper's deal factor into season 2? We see him getting into a car with some shadowy guys at the hospital, and it appears he's being forced to make good on his deal with them that helped save Will. The intention with the scene when he gets in the car is the cleanup of what happened and the mess of all this and Will dying and coming back to life. This is not a simple cleanup. We like the idea that sort of led by Hopper, our characters are drawn closer to the government in terms of having to make a bit of a deal with the devil. I have a feeling that Hopper is now being forced to work in tandem with Hawkins as a result of his deal. It makes sense that Hopper will be our window into seeing what's going on now at Hawkins. And as police chief in town would have to cover up some of the aftermath of season 1. There's too much really to contain unless he does. We even see in the 1 month later closing of season 1 that Hopper and Joyce are both acting like things are completely perfect and back to normal. But they know better. It seems like so far they have stuck to their deal, despite that newspaper article in the police station indicating otherwise. While talking about Hopper, another interesting tidbit we might expect in season 2. It appears that his daughter's death was quite cut and dry, but apparently that was not the case. David Harbour was asked in a Reddit AMA if he knew what his daughter specifically died of. His response? Yes, but it's a secret we may explore in season 2, so don't want to say right now. Damn, nothing can be straightforward on this show. We also briefly see Hopper's daughter kind of freaking out about something in one flashback. Could she have been having a vision similar to 11, or perhaps had seen the monster? There's definitely more to Hop's daughter and her demise, but for now we can only speculate. Or how about Hopper and his new relationship with 11 after she disappeared? And how did he know that she likes Eggos? Obviously something happened to her when she destroyed and killed that monster, and we don't know where she went. Hopper is left with his guilt because he sold her out. We wanted to leave it sort of mysterious exactly what he knows. Have there been sightings in the woods, or is he hoping that she's out there, or has he already made contact with her? We don't answer any of that, but we like the idea of potentially putting her and Hopper together. So of course 11 is still alive, maybe trapped in the Upside Down, or maybe now able to travel back and forth, making her own doorways. But there is a big leap from the end of the main story to where Hopper and 11 are at now. Especially if season 2 picks up a year later, I have a feeling he will have made contact in some form, trying to help her, but also stuck because of forced loyalties to Hawkins. I'm sure these tricky alliances will spell trouble for all of them in the future. Now back to the bigger picture, including more of what will be explored in season 2. The plan in that second season is to get into more of those questions, like why there was only one monster and what the Upside Down is exactly. The one part I think is really interesting in this quote is they mention why there was only one monster. So there's a specific reason story-wise only one monster was seen, and that impacts what the Upside Down could be and what it means. It's kind of crazy to even consider and really opens up a lot of possible theories. The Upside Down doesn't appear to have anyone else dwelling there, so there's got to be a reason behind that. I and others have considered that the Upside Down is in fact our dimension in the future where the darkness has taken total control, and the only thing that's left is old Tulip Head. But that's only one possibility, as we also know there are in fact tons of different dimensions out there. We've only seen into this one. And the Duffers have a lot more to say too, apparently. We have a 30-page document that answers all the questions we have about the Upside Down. Oh man, 30 pages? That's a lot of detail, boys. And this proves that there really is no way for us as viewers to get the whole picture of what this wacky dimension is exactly. It is fun to try and make sense of, and I'm sure we'll get more detail in season 2, but certainly not everything. Also, surprise, Brenner is alive. How about that? Matthew Modine seemed pretty blunt with saying they'd be back for season 2, and the Duffers have said they wouldn't have made his death that ambiguous, just getting tackled falling off camera. If he's going to die, they obviously want it to count. He could have been taken to the Upside Down, but no matter what, him still being around in any form will have huge impact on the show, some I mentioned previously. And finally, they mentioned a fan favorite character may get a little more closure. If there's a season 2, there will be some Barb talk. Don't worry, she will not be forgotten so easily. Hooray, Barb fans! I also agree she kind of got shafted in the story and seemingly forgotten about after a few things were set to make it look like she ran away. Like, what do her parents think about all this? We don't ever see them, but I'm sure they know Barb wouldn't just run away. So Barb may be gone, but hopefully she'll finally get some justice in season 2. Hashtag justice for Barb. Okay, so that's all the major stuff known so far about season 2. What do you guys hope to see more of in season 2? Let me know down in the comments. Also, I'm right in the middle of working on my next big Stranger Things video, looking at a ton more mysteries. Look at that coming out next week. Make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching FoundFlix.